How could I ever be late to the airplane? How could I ever be late to the airplane? What's up, friends? What's up, family? Today we're listening. What are we? No, we're not listening. We're ranking. This is my 5th ranking on this channel of the past 40 albums that I reviewed, marking what 200 albums, 200 reactions, 200 reviews on this channel. A year and a half in. That's not bad. That's a lot. That's a lot of music. Maybe even too much. If you haven't seen any of my reviews or any other rankings, feel free to go check those out. If you're new to the channel, feel free to like and subscribe if you want to. I review whatever albums my comments tell me to review, so it's just a bunch of different albums from a bunch of different years and genres, kind of, mixed together in one. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want, alright? I love you if you decide to do that. If you don't want to, when it comes to uncut reviews, I got a bunch of them on my Patreon, alright? If you want to go check me out and support me on there, feel free. I also do a lot of live streams on there. I'm doing one today, motherfucker, today. But yeah, this list is like a mix of subjective and objective, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to put an album number 1 if I don't listen to it that much. I'm not going to put it dead last if I hate it, but other people will love it. So you know what I mean? Let's hop in. Where's my coffee at? Coming in at dead last, Captain Beefheart. Absolutely. Trout Mask Replica. Absolutely. Number 40.
Well, it's actually all intentional. It's actually all very intentional. Each musician is playing it very...
I don't care. I mean, it doesn't sound good to me. Why would I listen to it? I mean, they almost got me with Frownland. Frownland. It was stuck in my head for like a day. And then it wasn't. And every person that likes this, it's like,
Well, on my 47th listen... On my 47th listen, I actually started to enjoy it. I actually started to pick up on the little intricacies and
I don't care. Coming in at 39, I got Kiltro, Creatures of Habit. I feel really bad putting this low because the person who recommended this, kind of recommended it for over 100 days. And that was every time I uploaded. So in reality, it was like 200 days. And I did enjoy the atmosphere and, much of the sounds on this album. The transitions were incredible. And I love how, the songwriter, takes where he's from and kind of, wovens it into every song in a way. But nothing on here sound-wise really like blew me the fuck away. So that's why I'm kind of placing it really low. Coming in at 38, I got Death Grips with Year of the Snitch. A lot of comments told me that this album was, Death Grips kind of internalizing, a bunch of criticisms, towards the band. And, this is their kind of fuck you album, which, if that really is the case, then I'm taking that personally. And I ranked Death Grips really high on my previous ranking, like the Powers That Be. I fucking love that album, but this one just isn't really clicking for me. I don't think that there's really much songs off of here that I can return to. Plus, a lot of the instrumentation is horrifying, but that might be my favorite part about it, honestly, because y'all know me, y'all know that I love some eeriness, alright? But in this format, favorite song off this is probably Death Grips Is Online. I would do Speed to that song. I really would. I don't know. I don't have a least favorite. Maybe Little Richard. Little Richard actually might be my least favorite Death Grip song. I think that shit's fucking ass. I don't know how you give this a 9 Coming in at 37, I got Arctic Monkeys with Whatever People Say I Am. That's what I'm not. Before I criticize anything about the album, and I don't really have much criticisms for it, I want to criticize myself. When I was editing the video, I kind of sensed that during the reaction, I was a little disinterested. The music was not my favorite, and I think I could have done better analyzing the lyrics, and I did get criticisms towards my analysis in the comments of that video. But if I'm being fair, if I'm defending myself, all right, the lyrics on this are not that deep, all right. So I really don't mind. But listen, it's just I wasn't in that time period, Just because all of the UK was enjoying this shit in 2006 does not mean I gotta enjoy it almost 20 years later in the US, all right, and that's perfectly fine. Coming in at 36, I got McGee with 2-Star and the Dream at Police. TikTok treats him like he's Jesus Christ, and I think he's an excellent guitar player. I think the guitar work on this album is incredible. I just think there's a lot that can be improved on, song structure wise and songwriting wise. I think that this album could certainly have a lot more depth to it if it tried. But there's no doubt in my mind that McGee will definitely come out with a better album than this, and then probably a better album than his next album. I mean, his live performances, they're all over my For You page. I mean, he's a very good performer. People are going to hate me for this next one. People are going to actually hate me. At 35, I got Brave Little Abacus. We just got back from Discomfort. We're alright. This is a bit where my subjective tastes kind of get, meshed into the list, because I think that his writing all over this is absolutely crazy. I think it's so great. And I do love emo. I do. I love, the Weather Day songs, American Football self-titled. I think it's fantastic. But when it comes to the vocals off of here, I just can't get into that sound yet. Maybe my ears are just not really ready. But if you love this album, all right, and if you put this on in the car, I will respect you, and I won't kick you out. Coming in at 34, I got Ethel Cain with Preacher's Daughter. I think the structure of a lot of these songs and the instrumentation and the pacing of this album is probably the most impressive part about it. I think maybe the only thing holding it back is just maybe a little bit of corny on like the beginning songs, but a lot of the deeper cuts off of here are insanely fucking good. Thoroughfare, Gibson Girl is insane, and I do think that she will continue to drop great music, and I think that she will have a lot more better and structured albums than this, and I hope her songwriting kind of gets a little better too. Coming in at 33, I got Arteker with Try Repeat. There's like 3 or 4 songs I love off of this thing, but me not liking the deeper cuts makes me feel like a fake electronic music fan, because I damn well know that if Aphex Twin did a lot of the sounds off of here, I'd be like, oh my god, he's the goat, he's so amazing. But when they do it, I'm kind of like, ugh. And I think it's just the identity behind Aphex Twin and the aesthetic that people kind of put on listening to that kind of like electronic music. I'm like, yeah, that's so me. But when it comes to a lot of the sounds off here, it's more obscure. The identity is behind it is not as cool and kind of niche to bring out. And I feel so shallow saying that, but I can't just like mask that. I gotta say though, that Uto and Clipper, absolute banger. Love those ones. Next I got Lil Ugly Mane, Volcanic Bird Enemy. I think if I was incredibly mentally ill, I think I would love this one way more than I really do. Also another pick where my subjectivity and my happiness in life is kind of good right now. So I don't know if I would ever return to a lot of these songs off of here. They they're very reflective of I think his life and everything that he's going through. So, but I think his words and his creative songwriting on here is definitely my favorite part about it. But there's definitely a lot of production that I would have liked to see on this album. Kind of be delved into more. I think Headboard is incredible, and there's a lot of songs off of it that sound similar as well. I would have liked to hear more of that sound, and I hope in the future that he can go deeper into that. Coming in at 31, I got Floating Points with Promises. Instrumentally, it's incredible. The only reason why I'm putting it kind of low is that I'm me personally, replay value. I'm not really just diving into some minimalistic jazz on a daily basis. It's just not happening. But I don't have a bad thing to say about this. Rest in peace, Pharoah Sanders. His work on here is incredible. I think the pacing of every song is wild. I almost fell asleep during this review in the best way possible. Coming in at 30, I got Echo 2K with E. It's just an insane piece of cloud rap work right here. I think the production off of here, the watery, very dense atmosphere, that he kind of gives us is incredible. The only thing kind of holding it back for me is the songwriting a little bit, even though, there actually is a lot of deep meaning to this album, and I wish that it kind of brought it out a little bit more. He has another album with Blade, I think. A lot of people were recommending me that, so if you want to see that, feel free to let me know. Favorite song off of this is definitely the opener. I keep loving that one. Coming in at 29, I got Sophie with Oil of Every Pearl's on Insides. When I heard about, what happened to her, I fell to my knees, because the impact that she made within electronic music, from what I know, is so great with just one fucking album. I can't imagine if she dropped another one and another one after that. My ears are still getting adjusted to a lot of the stuff off of here, but the crisp production on Pony Boy, It's Okay to Cry, Face Shopping, I think those songs are incredible, and the production off of this is wild. People like her really make you think about how fragile life really is. You could just be chilling one day, then the next day, you're not. Coming in at 28, I got Adrian Linker with Bright Future. Another absolute songwriting masterclass from her. And I can only compliment her more because I feel like, once a lot of the, lead members of bands step out and do their own solo work, it's usually not as good as their main work. Her vocals, the production, the background vocals, everything off of here ties together so well. I've had Donut Seam on repeat ever since I've listened to this. Coming in at 27, I got Vampire Weekend with Only God Was Above Us. The video got blocked. Alright, I'm trying to get it back up. it's on my Patreon if you want to go check it out. But this album is just very therapeutic. It's such a great mixture of comforting words, comforting lyrics, being woven together by very intense production at times. Hope is definitely my favorite song off of here. I mean, one of my favorites of the year as well. Coming in at 26, I got The Doors with Strange Days. Jim Morrison is such an enigma in my mind, and the self-titled keeps growing on me, so I can only imagine that this one is going to grow on me as well. It's just not as strong, I think. But I just feel like compared to their debut, and just for an album that came out not even a year later, I feel like a lot of things off of here, just didn't really wow me as much as they did on the first album. And I don't like the album cover. Sorry. Coming in at 25, I got The Glowing Man by Swans. I feel bad because I usually, fuck Swans over a lot of the times when it comes to these rankings because the albums are so long, so it's immediately hard for me to, listen to them all the time, give them a proper re-listen and sit down because I have to do shit in life. I could certainly say as a sit-down listening experience, from start to finish, this is my favorite out of the trilogy. Soundtracks for the Blind is still probably my favorite album by them. But I think compared to The Seer and To Be Kind, when I finished this, I wasn't as exhausted. I wasn't as, let's just get the fuck out of here kind of thing. There was a lot more moments within all these songs I found more, unforgettable and more, kind of rewarding. So I think when it comes to any of the albums out of the trilogy to listen to on alone, I think I'm gonna go this one. Coming in at 24, I got Rage Against the Machine's self-titled record. A little after, the review, I did more information and more research into, this album. And while the sound of it and, his vocals on it are, I feel like seen more to be taken as a statement rather than as to actually enjoy the sound of the music. I do think the impact of it and the album cover is crazy. Favorite track off of here is definitely Killing in the Name, but there's not a single dull moment on this record at all. Coming in at 23, I got David Bowie with Station to Station. This is one of the 3 Bowie albums that are in this ranking, and I think that means that I think I'm just enjoying sober David Bowie, Berlin David Bowie more than coked out David Bowie. But I think the style of this is insane. The last track is incredible, and I think looking back on it now, him saying that he doesn't remember much of the recording sessions being so high, I think it makes the album more impressive. Coming in at 22, I got The Stooges with Funhouse. The absolute downward spiral that this album depicts from start to finish gets so progressively deeper. I feel like as this album goes on, we're kind of getting deeper into the hell of Iggy Pop's mind, and he's not leaving anything to the imagination. I mean, he's fucking, and you can just hear his energy being unleashed within every song off of here. This album does not hold anything back. Coming in at 21, I got Caroline Polachek with Desire, I Want to Turn Into You. Probably the most impressive album I listened to vocally from this ranking. The way she can bend and contort her voice to do anything that she wants is absolutely insane. Meanwhile, the production is also very bubbly. It's very fun. Favorite song off of here is definitely Bunny is a Writer. And, the way her vocals are mixed into that song are absolutely incredible. Coming in at 20, I got How to Leave Town by Car Seat Headrest. As an album listening experience, and when it comes to, the relatability of a Car Seat Headrest album, this is one that I could definitely get into the most. I feel like within the longer songs off of here, the pacing and, everything about these songs makes it so much more, worthwhile to listen to. I can't even record outside in peace without all this noise. I just want to run away. But no, Will is an absolute genius, and I can't believe that, he did the production and everything on this album by himself. That's kind of why I put it a lot higher than I would probably put it at. Coming in at 19, I got MGMT with Little Dark Age. Very surreal, carnivalistic, was that a word? Production off of here. Although I do kind of feel like this album is built around, the hits. So many of the songs off of here just bang so fucking hard. Me and Michael, Little Dark Age, of course. When You're Small kind of cuts you in your core. Number 18 is Figure 8 from Elliott Smith. This is the kind of album that you appreciate, an artist's evolution and, what they really want to go into. But there's, a lot of aspects about this album that I feel like Elliott could have, definitely done better in. But at the end of the day, it's still Elliott Smith. I mean, all you're getting is quality, mostly song for song out of this. Although there's a few cuts off of here that I genuinely... Why I gotta do leaf blowing right now? I'm making a video, and you're leaf blowing. I gotta make a video. Coming in at 17, I got Songs Ohio by Magnetic. What? No, I'm saying that Hold On Magnolia is one of my favorite songs I've listened to so far this year. And for that song alone, I think that this, album is placed very high on this list. The rest of the songs I think are, very good. Whenever I like a country album, it's always a win. It's always a win. Absolute rest in peace. It broke my heart here and that. At 16, I got Queens of the Stone Age, Like Clockwork. I think I enjoyed this album on the first listen more than I do now. I do find more of the songs off of, Songs for the Deaf, more replayable. But I think as an album listening experience, with, high moments, I feel like this kind of takes the cake. And the overall meaning of this album I find so crazy. And it definitely finishes off the strongest with the last 2-3 songs more than most of the albums off of here. Coming in at 15, I got Funkadelic, Maggot Brain. And it's crazy because after I finished this album, I was like, okay, well, the intro is so fantastic. I'm not really going to listen to the rest of the songs. But I feel like a lot of the time when I play this album, I play it, just looking to play the intro. And then I end up listening to the whole thing. So this album is definitely a big grower. It's definitely not a show where it's coming in at 14. I got The Clash with London Calling. The sound of this album is definitely a lot more diverse than I expected. I thought I was gonna get just straight up 19 alt rock, indie rock songs, but there's a lot of different genre infusions off of here, and I think that I appreciate that aspect of this album the most. And I think it makes it so easy to listen to, knowing it's a runtime. Favorite track off of here is probably the intro and the outro. Coming in at 13, I got David Bowie with Heroes. I do think most of this album kind of builds around that song, but I think it does it in a really, really quality way. And it's kind of structured the same way as Low. And as we know, I did do Low. It is high. It is a little higher on the list, but the kind of darker, grittier production off of here is something that I definitely appreciate a lot about it. The biggest part about this that I didn't like is probably the outro. I just don't get that as the outro. I just didn't understand it. Coming in at 12, I got Violator, Depeche Mode. I feel like albums like MGMT and Little Dark Age just simply would not exist if it wasn't for this piece of work right here. Definitely one that you listen to on the second listen, you're like, oh, well, I kind of like Personal Jesus. And then you listen to it again and you're kind of like, oh, I kind of like World in My Eyes a lot. And then the third time you're like, well, Sweetest Perfection is actually pretty good. Nothing really beats Enjoy the Silence, though. I don't know. That one is just crazy. All right, this is where my subjectivity gets kind of crazy. I got House of Sugar, Alex G. By no means do I believe that, House of Sugar by Alex G is better than Rage Against the Machine or Depeche Mode or any of albums I just listed. Just personally, the personal sound of this album is, just something that caters to my eardrums. And, just seeing Alex G's evolution, which I didn't see because I only reviewed Race and Trick before this. But I think instrumentally, he goes into a lot of different directions. And for the most part, it's a success. I love songs like Hope, Walk Away is one of my favorite songs by him. The outro kind of being, adding a live aspect to this, I think made this album feel so alive rather than just a little indie album made in a bedroom. Coming in at number 10, I got Flying Lotus with Cosmogramma. This is also one that's definitely going to grow on me, with time. This album, is very inspired by a lot of different sounds, and I think it just pulls it off so successfully. And I appreciate, the little moments that come only once within this album. And, just Flying Lotus's urge to not repeat any things that worked within past songs. Everything on here just feels like a new treat, a new piece of candy. Coming in at 9, I got Brat by Charlie XCX. Fantano gave this a 10. Everyone's freaking out about it. They're giving it 10s. It's not even 2 weeks old, so I'm not going to put it that high. But eventually, I think that, this might be my favorite off of, the entire list. I mean, she really takes the production on all of these songs and just makes it her fucking bitch, just with her energy. And I love how, deep and emotional a lot of these songs are either. She kind of brings every mood to the table on here. She makes you want to turn up with club classics and then, turn down the music and cry with So I. And the way she talks about, hinting at wanting kids on Apple and then kind of, finishes that idea as the album finishes is something that I love as well. And just, the starting at 360 and ending at 365, it really makes you feel like this album has come full circle. And a lot of the bonus tracks off of here are worthy of being on the album for sure, and I think are probably better than most people's outtakes. Coming at number 8, I got Smashing Pumpkins with Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. This album, right, is like an all-you-can-eat buffet. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. You know what I mean? If you take out the 10 tracks off of here, right? If you take out the 10 best tracks off of here, you get like maybe an average 40-minute album. When you go to a buffet, you're not going to eat everything. You're not going to take all the options. You're not going to fill your plate with every piece of food. And when I listen to this album, it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. I'm not taking every song. I'm not listening to every song off of here. I'm not loving every song off of here. But the plate that I'm making is absolutely better than most 10 songs off that I could take from any of the songs off of this list. I've had 1979 on repeat for since this came out, and I feel very left out and very hurt by people in life because why am I 20 years old just hearing this? Coming in number 7, I got David Bowie's Low. When Brian Eno was in the mix, it's a 10. No, but the creativity off of this album is amazing. I mean, and I think that this album is a testament to David Bowie's artistry, growth as not only an artist but a person as well. I think people appreciate this album, and I think it's considered one of the top 100 or something greatest albums of all time, not really because of the technicality aspect of it, because half of this album is kind of just instrumentals, and the songwriting isn't insane, but it's just seeing where he came from and just seeing how he kind of evolved creatively. It kind of definitely inspires me. Weeping Wall and Speed of Life are definitely my favorites off of here. Coming in at 6, I got Gorillaz with Plastic Beach. The world that this album creates is it's insane. Just bringing in so many different features who all did such an incredible job. I think his vocals on a lot of the songs on here are something that I still have to get used to, but I think production wise there is no matching this album, and I think I do like the production more than Demon Days, but I got Demon Days a little higher. Favorite song off of here is Empire Ants. I cannot get enough of that one. Coming in at number 5 is Ichiko Ayoba with Windswept Adan. Listen to this recently. I think the fact that it's self-produced is actually mind-blowing, and it makes me feel useless as an individual. It's a perfect album in my opinion. There's not really anything bad I can say about this at all. Only that some cuts I just wish were longer. Some of the 1 minute, 2 minute songs I just wish could have been stretched out to maybe, I don't know, something longer, like 17 minutes, 18 minutes. Coming in number 4, I got Portishead with Third. This album is like crack. It's like my brain is like, turn it off, but my ears are like, no. Beth Gibbons is insane off of here. I mean, she dropped a solo album this year that I think I might have to review. I might have to listen to that one. But I definitely prefer this one to Dummy in, just a lot of different ways. I mean, I feel like, production off of here is so much more gentle and easygoing, but also, kind of maintains that eeriness, kind of maintains that unsettling atmosphere. Favorite songs off of here is definitely The Rip and Machine Gun. Coming into 3, I got Demon Days, Gorillaz. Between the MF Doom feature, Feel Good Inc., Dare, the title track, I mean, this album is absolutely insane. And I did not go into this thinking that I'd like it more than Plastic Beach because I reviewed Plastic Beach first. And it's definitely that album where I listen to it and I'm like, okay, that's really good. Then I listen to it again and I'm like, oh shit, this is really good. My reaction to Dare wasn't even like all that crazy. And I cannot stop fucking listening to Dare. It is a daily ritual of mine. And I listened to Feel Good Inc. after the album. And I was like, okay, well, it's really good, but I can't really see how it has over 1 billion plays. But now I can. I can't stop fucking listening to it. The bass line, the guitar, the fucking, the rap verse. I don't know. I don't know what he's lacing in these songs, but it's fucking good. I need more of it. Coming in number 2, I got Danny Brown with Atrocity Exhibition. The way Danny is unapologetically, just abusing himself on this is scary. It's scary. And just hearing the stories about this album, how he almost went bankrupt, producing it because he spent so much on sample clearances. It really makes you appreciate, how passionate he was to bring this sort of idea to life. And I did watch the Ain't It Funny music video, and I gotta say that yes, and I just can't believe that he displays such destructive behavior. I mean, complete rock bottom individual on this album, and it ends optimistically. And I think unfortunately, people may listen to this album, especially hip hop fans, and they hear, and they kind of think, oh well, if my favorite artist is at a low in their life, then they're gonna make a fucking great album. And I hate that mindset. I really do. But unfortunately, it pulled through on this album. Coming in number 1, I'm not gonna lie, it's Moon Safari. I know I had to be different. I had to be niche, But listen, when it comes to ambient pop, it's winning. All right, this album is literally me. The mood that this invokes in me, I wish that I could carry with me all the time. The way the vocals are placed off of this album so sparsely, and the way the instrumentals kind of carry itself in the beginning, and just the way we ramp up with such a high energy in the end is incredible to me. I don't have a favorite song off of here. I think all of these songs do what they do so incredibly, and I think that this is a perfect album. But songs like All I Need, oh my god, just thinking about it now, I'm about to go listen to it after I stop recording. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Someone mentioned that when I do 40 rankings, I should put all the albums together, which I don't think would work because I think eventually even all my number ones would change. But yeah, that's it. That's all I gotta say right now. I mean, I think all these records are so incredible. This might be my favorite season yet that I've done. But yeah, I feel like I need to say more, but I think I'm good at the same time. So yeah, thank you for watching. I love and appreciate you. Thank you for checking me out. If you're new, feel free to like and subscribe if you want. And yeah, drop your recommendations in the comments. And that's it. Thank you. Have a good one.